What up, gamers? We are live with a special Saturday episode. We've talked about this on the channel that we are going to start putting up some non-modern content to be able to sprinkle in at the end of the month. And basically the first Saturday, the last Saturday of the month is going to be our non-modern related content, and then our first Saturday of the month is MTGO content. So we've got some legacy for you guys. This time around, we've got Infect versus Sinkhole. All right, have you seen these decks? Do you know these decks? Let's talk about it and help you understand how these decks work. So we've got this hatchery, which is, of course, the way Legacy works is you can play commander cards that are, legal in the format. So we see this little hatchery that you are losing a life and putting counters on it, and then we are seeing the Sinkhole in response. Now, this is a proxy-friendly version of the match, as players are starting to get back into the Legacy format in our area. So I have some proxies, tropical islands. I've only got 2 Trops, 1 Savannah, 1 what is the name of the green-black, or not the green-black, the blue-black one? Underground Sea. Those are my only dual lands that I have. So, proxy-friendly. Let's proxy up and let's play this amazing format that is Legacy. And Sinkhole, the idea, we just saw it on screen, is basically 8-rack if you had even more powerful cards at your disposal, like Wastelands and things like that. So Sinkhole going to be taking place, trying to take our players off of the colors that they need, while Infect is very different in Legacy compared to Modern. And if you've never played Legacy Infect, you are in for a treat when you try to pilot it, because it basically takes this control element that exists with the deck, but also has the oops, I win buttons, which how much I love when I play Magic in my decks, of just sort of, oh, yeah, let's just, use these cards and just win the game here, huh? But look at this just amazing little cleanup here of just Sinkhole, destroy the Ink Moth, and then Sheldred's Edict, destroy the creature, and can we just sort of lock you out of the game at this point in time? But now there is basically a grip full for the Infect player, and they're trying to piece together something here. At the same time, our Sinkhole player, she's able to set herself up with a nice set of disruption at this point in time, but needs to land a threat to help kind of close out the game. And there are some pretty powerful ones that exist in the deck here, like Burrow Goyf and things like that are definitely ones that we're trying to be able to hit. Oh, okay. Did get another bit of a threat here. So again, every time that those lands get tapped there, they are going to be draining. So we're doing our best to try to track the life, but sometimes that does get a little bit off here. But Unstoppable Slasher coming out, 2/3 Death Toucher, and just like chunking the life total with that there. So that's going to be the goal, to try to close out the game for our Sinkhole player, while the Infect player is still trying to piece something together here in this game 1. Now, what's exciting about this is we essentially got a best of 5 action going on, and what was that one? The wonderful proxy of a, it says, look how great those little check lands or check cards are, because it's got a magic back, so it makes it even easier. But Bladed Agent going to hit the battlefield. Got the wonderful Chinese signed version in this deck. You guys know I am close to a fully signed Modern Infect, and I do have a couple of signed pieces in my Legacy deck, as you guys have kind of seen sprinkled in. It's, it's like I'm a fan of Infect. I don't know. I'm actually super excited to go and play the 2015 Modern event, because I am playing Infect. So I've talked about it a little bit. It is going to be in Harrisonburg on April 11th. So if you're interested in learning about Modern 2015 format and what that looks like, there'll be a charity event that I'll be attending. So we'll try to do a little bit of filming for it and see what happens with it. But I am going to be piloting my Infect, because back in 2015 was when we were rocking out with the grind then. And hey, here's a Invigorate, here's an Invigon, here's a Berserk. Let me just kill you here out of nowhere in just one fell swoop. The power of Infect. Very nervous though playing against the black because of the potential of like Fatal Push and Bowmasters, and there's a lot of cards that exist that can be a bit of a problem here. So And we're going into game number 2 here in this sort of best of 5 action. But yeah, the player's getting used to it. Also, the kind of maybe slight benefit of going, have you played against this match before? Do you know the ins and outs of it? Do you know like where these kind of pivot points are within this sort of like ebb and flow that exists in Legacy? And if not, you're going to kind of find out quick. But we see a Thoughtseize and the Force of Will coming out here. So this is always a interesting choice for players to do. Basically, you're saying, I'm going to go down 2 cards because I really need the specific cards in hand. And Ponder's going to get utilized after it. So the way that's probably is set up is, oh, we have an Infect creature that we're trying to keep, and I don't want you to touch it right now, so we're specifically setting ourselves up like that. Another thing that you can think about is ways to interact with Thoughtseize is like activating or casting your Brainstorm and putting the cards you don't want to be taken on the top. So Thoughtseize is going to attempt to get used again, and actually Daze is going to come out, put a stop to that, and look at all those lands in hand. That's the tough part of like, well, I guess I could have played that Wasteland and been able to have paid for it, but I don't mind the, all right, I'll just play a Surveil land. That also kind of gives the indication maybe they could not have been able to have done any setups there, but nice little signed Windswept Heath hitting the field now. Liliana of the Veil hitting. Oh, speaking of Magic 2015 era, this is a nice, really powerful. And also just being able to kind of run away with things with the ability to stack a creature is so good. But another Force of Will going to get utilized there. So, again, a lot. We talked about this sort of control-y element that exists within Legacy Infect. This is kind of, we're seeing a lot of that right now. But it still is possible for a Sinkhole player to, find the tools they need. If the Infect player relies on Inkmoth, that's where the Wasteland comes in. So we're going to have to see how they're going to piece together anything here off of this Surveil. All right, another Trop. Do we jam it? Is there a Blighted Agent? Looks like there's that debate here. You see this sort of like, okay, that might mean that there is no Daze or anything to help protect it here. So, but is there enough decent amount of lands in hand for a Sinkhole player? One of which is the sweet white border Wasteland. Big fan of that. And yeah, let's just blow up all of your lands here. Hopefully, it's enough to keep ourselves alive. It's no lands, can't pump it unless you have an Invigorate. Then it's for the price of for free. All right, 1 Infect coming across. Going to track it on there. Very nice. Also, of course, have it up on the right-hand side of the screen for you to be able to enjoy. All right, but yeah, we've got a lot of cool games planned for you guys. We've got some Dan action. We've got some Pioneer action. The Modern 2015 coming up, as well as just our weekly gameplay stuff that we're doing every Monday and Thursday for you to be able to enjoy. So hope you guys have been enjoying all the content. Of course, subscribe, follow along for more stuff like this. If you like the Legacy content, leave a comment. Let us know. Let us know if there's specific decks from Legacy you'd like us to feature. It sounds like there is some rumblings and discussions about our area starting to pick Legacy back up again, especially with like proxy friendly stuff for players. So really excited to see what that looks like with some of the local scenes and what sort of decks players are going to be utilizing and piloting, because we do have some players that have a decent number of Legacy decks, or at least used to. All right, Sinkhole here is going to actually blow up our own creature, make a bunch of 1/1 insects now. Now the thing about the Blighted Agent, it is unblockable, so all those insects are cool, but don't actually get in the way and do anything here. Invigorate. Hey, would you like to gain 4 life? Look at that. Nice signed Invigorates. It's So there we go. I would like to invigorate +4. +4, that's 8. And then the 1, of course, from the Infect to do 9. 10 total damage, all we needed there. So we'll take the lead 2-0. We decided to do like essentially best of 5. We're going to play, as many games as we can before. Because there's also in between the tournament of our weekly modern. So we're like, yeah, let's hang out and be able to rock it out and do some gaming here. So more sideboard action taking place. All right, Sinkhole player, she's happy with hers, going to keep that, and we're going to see what we can get going with it. And Thought Sees, are we going to see a force? No force this time around. And it says, here's a land, you can't take this land, and land. All right, here's what we got here. Okay, not a bad way to go about it. I like the Noble Hierarch, decent number of pump spells there. Yeah, I guess the other thing, it's like we could play Revealed, also with the ability to brainstorm and stuff like that. The information that is available is not always guaranteed. So we are going to be brainstorming, and that'll be met with a daze after the Bowmaster attempt to come down and try to deal some damage, but not going to happen here. So we'll be able to draw 3, put 2 back on the top. That's definitely something that you're going to see a lot of in Legacy. I mean, this sort of daze action when you're playing against blue. Bowmaster, black is very powerful. Of course, there's that Oops All Spells deck, which is probably one of the #1 decks in Legacy. I know there's been a little bit more discussion around the format, especially when they said no changes to the ban list. That was a whole thing that kind of was discussed, but we're not so much worried about it. But if you want to discuss the ban list and how Legacy is as a format, feel free to leave some comments. But Burrow Goyf going to come out, Death Touch, Lifelink, and then of course we are going to be tracking what his power and toughness is there. All right, Inkmoth Nexus going to come out, which is a risky thing to be able to rely on when you're playing against a Wasteland deck, especially when there's 2 Wastelands sitting across the board there. But Blade Agent's going to hit the battlefield. No noticeable protection currently on the battlefield, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a force or another way to protect it. All right, swinging with the Burrow Goyf. No blocks, but no effects at the moment, but we will see Inkmoth goes down. Then land going to the graveyard will grow the Burrow Goyf, which then heals us on that little bit of a hit because of the Death Touch Lifelink. Now let's take a look at those 4, and check this out. Hey, can we lock the game with a Plague Engineer? Because what has gotten errated? All of the Infect creatures are now considered Phyrexian. So that is very dangerous to see. So basically we got to find a way to win this turn or stop our opponent from winning. Looks like we don't have a... maybe. I was like, I saw some pumps here. But let's see. I didn't see a... We'll see. Push the... Going for damage here. Embiggen, give it +4. All right, because it is not a bushwhack or brushwag. Oh, Sheldred's Edict. That's going to force the force here. Gain 4 more life. So we're going to put the Sinkhole player to 9 there with that push. Now, the problem is we used our Force of Will to fight over to keep the Blighted Agent out there. But now, and a Fatal Push. So, yeah, if the Plague Engineer doesn't stick here, there's at least ways to try to clear up. Yeah, let's just push that here. Say no more. Bring the Burrow Goyf across. All right, life swings again. Down to 10, up to 31. So not even having to rely on the Plague Engineer at the moment, just sort of setting ourselves up for success with all these different tools. All right, dropping to 9 to fetch up. Our Sinkhole player she's like, if I had another land, I would just play this Plague Engineer and start cackling maniacally. No, thank you. Don't want to see that as a, Kindred style deck here at all. There's not that many that exist within Modern anymore, but, Infect definitely fits that slot. But, some players have been testing out some different tools within Infect, which is nice to see. That's, of course, like Fenris Cloud is one of them that's got lots of different brews for us to be able to check out. I've, definitely been seeing some more action with the, Tifa style and going that route, which is cool. All right. Ooh, not going to grab anything off that, but there's the land, and there is the Plague Engineer naming Phyrexian. So, goodbye, Glistener Elf. So, yeah, nothing we can do there. Drop to 4. We'll be able to get cleared up there. But also, the reveal of the Plague Engineers does give a little bit of hint of what we should be looking for in the sideboard here. Because now it goes, okay, those 4 Swords to Plowshare, those have to come in now. Now that we have seen just how scary Plague Engineer is, basically it locks us out of the game. We have to have answers for that now. So let's see what we get to see. Both players keeping, passing with just a land, no Noble, no Ink Moth. Thoughtseize, do we fight over it? Is this another force? No, we're fine with this. So, oh, we do have the force. And it says, what's the last? Oh, here's the land. The last of what is this hidden information you're hiding over there? But yeah, there's 1 force, 1 ponder, and the Blighted Agent. So decided to keep the Blighted Agent in hand. Didn't want to utilize the force there, which means the force will get taken because that, keeping that in hand can be a little bit risky and dangerous to have to deal with. And so, what do we got here? Invigorate, which is the free one. But yeah, you can see the Ponders are signed, Invigorate are signed, and Blighted Agent is signed. So yeah, getting some tools. We'll pick up more pieces for it soon, but I've got to send in my Venerated Rot Priest to the artist that does them to get those signed. That's on my list this year. Hold me accountable. Keep reminding me about it. One of these days we'll pull the trigger on doing that, but let's see. Ponder going to get utilized here. Let's see. Land and pass. Nothing too crazy going on at this moment in time. Just sort of setting ourselves up, it looks like here. But yeah, more and more tools getting kind of banked in hand for a Sinkhole player. Being able to have a smallpox is nice, but only having 1 land is not really where we want to be at. Oh, I like this. Force you to have to deal with me. Dark Ritual. Are we doing the Plague Engineer? No, Unstoppable Slasher coming out. 2/3, Death Touch, and then be able to chunk life totals off of it here and do some, but let's see. Will it be worth it to do the swords? It's possible. So looking for the lone one of Savannah that exists in the list here. I mean, the nice thing about it is, if playing against a Sinkhole deck, even if Savannah gets right, there's still Noble Hierarchs that can give us access to white mana. But all right, swords, bam, 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 clear it up. I mean, part of the reasoning behind utilizing one of our spells like that now is our opponent is only on 1 land. So Infect style, we can kind of navigate and work our way through. Okay, I guess we're going to try to play it a little bit slower here and set ourselves up with some tools that we can use to protect our Blighted Agent a little bit more. All right, another land. Pass. Still know there's a Invigorate and Blighted Agent. No Brainstorm to kind of hide the information, but all right, passing on over here. Is it time? Is it time for the Blighted Agent to hit? I mean, you've got a couple of tools. Looks like, yep, we're going to jam it out there and hope for the best. Fatal Push going to try to get used. Do we got ways to protect it? All right, dropping to 17. get a trop off of it, which I highly recommend players just playing other formats, Legacy, Modern, things like that, even pre-Modern, to be able to proxy up some decks. Just see if you enjoy them, all right? Legacy's Quick Reflex, amazing card, split second, and oh no, the push number 2. So that Quick Reflex is not enough. All right, but the single player still only on 1 land, so maybe there's a chance. Let's see. We're going to go for Brainstorm on the main phase here, looking to basically find a threat. That's where we're at now. But did we Brainstorm lock ourselves? Did we go, well, there's no way to shuffle, and there's nothing of value that's coming up in the next few draws. So putting whatever it is on top. Pendelhaven. And a Blighted Agent. So we did find a threat. Oh, and there's the land off the top for the Sinkhole player. That is going to be risky. Okay. What do they've got? Which tool are they going to utilize to help them? Eldritch Edict. Hey, we can't protect against that unless we've got a way to protect it. It says, hey, I'd like to give this +1/+2 with the Pendelhaven. Not that it matters. You know, utilizing the Pendelhaven maybe against like a Bowmaster or something like that, but not really useful there. Plague Engineer naming Phyrexian. Alright, this is my win condition. Let's see. 17-18. So this is kind of what happens sometimes with Legacy, right? We saw some really fast games at the beginning, and now we're in this little bit of a grind fest as players are really just sort of trying. Oh my gosh. Phyrexian Engineered got hit with the swords. Second one immediately hit the battlefield. Bowmaster now, though, so things are like advantage meter is definitely shifting and leaning more toward the Sinkhole player, but adjusting the lands that we're tapping. Bowmaster. Does it resolve? Yep. Looks like it's staying around. Legolas's, we're actually going to keep the Noble Hierarch here instead of letting it die. I don't know. That one, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on that choice. I mean, I guess it's like you want to keep a threat at this point, but you can't even utilize Pendelhaven to pump the Noble. But if you haven't seen any creatures in a while, and there's only, what, 12 creatures in the deck? Sinkhole, the Pendelhaven. Alright. Combat. 2 cards left in hand. Block the Plague Engineer. Attempt to invigorate it. Let's try to eat it. So that, okay, now that makes sense of why we decided to keep it around. That way we could try to fight over and kill the Plague Engineer there. Our Sinkhole player said, I've made a horrible mistake. I don't know about necessarily a horrible mistake, but definitely like one of these like, oh, yeah, right, pump spells. Liliana, oh no, if that resolved, that's just 100% going to just take away the creature there. So yeah, what Legacy decks do you guys enjoy, or are you all playing? Are there any in particular that you guys are interested in seeing? Oof. Bowmaster just poking right now. Poke, poke, poke. Alright, can this Lily be enough? I mean, the smallpox is definitely really nice. Uptick. Get rid of a smallpox. Get rid of a daze. The land count has increased. Even though the daze would be pretty nice against a Burrogoyf. Oh, no, there's 4 lands. I thought there was only 3. I lied. Alright, do you want to check? Instant land, sorcery, creature. Alright. 4/4 is pretty good. Instant sorcery, creature, land. Just got to kill that Lily to make it a 5, right? Oh my gosh, so many lands. This is also wild too. If you're like, I'm playing against a land destruction deck that runs Smallpox, Sinkhole, and Wasteland, and I have 5 lands on the battlefield. All right, Burgoyf gonna reveal some stuff. Well, there's a Wasteland in that pile. Couple lands. Lily gonna uptick here. Berserk and Wasteland drop for both players. Another nice signed card there. I've seen some players pull off and stop running Berserk, but I don't know. I like it. Again, the oops, I win buttons. All right, plus in the Lily. Oh, using the swords to keep ourselves alive. Oh, Legolas' quick reflex is gone. 30 life to 6. Again, poking. Yeah, here's the problem. As long as it's like a creature and not like an ink moth, it's going to be tough. But even then, it's like, force. We could have just hardcast that. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. We have found every fetchable source. No, I think there might be a basic forest still in here. I was going to say, we found every fetchable source, right? Because I'm pretty sure one of the trops have already gotten eaten. No, I have all 4 trops, 1 Savannah. What do we got? Days? Yep, there we go. Burgoyf is back. Poke. Down to 3. Oh my gosh. Wasteland. Uptick. Oh, the joke here was like, okay, you can't. Now I'm going to Legolas quick reflexes on yours. I always like to do that when I know I'm about to die, so I'm just like, all right, here you go. Here's the thing. So tied up 2-2 there at the end between both the decks. Got to see a little bit more action and kind of started out with very fast-paced decks, and then it sort of shifted and slowed down and got very grindy and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. So we got to see a little bit of the sideboard options and the actual, like, shave on some pump spells, and because it's like, yeah, all right, we've got the free ones, we don't necessarily need the embiggens as much, and we shaved on the Glistener Elf because of seeing the insect come out, seeing the Plague Engineer, a lot of tools to sort of get in the way that the, you know, we don't need the like super fast Glistener Elf out there. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Nice little bit of fun as we get into some Legacy as our bonus content for you to be able to enjoy. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, y'all, and I'll see you all next game.